And good afternoon. We just want to bring you up to speed with what's going on here with the smoke from the wildfires up in Canada. That is a live view from our roof cam. You can see just how smoky that sky is. Now, I got to tell you, I'm not trying to spread panic or anything like that, but I think it's best that you know it's best to stay indoors at this point, at least through the afternoon. Why? Because the levels have now gone over 300. So particulate matter, there's a lot of it in the atmosphere, and that means that it can cause problems for even healthy people to breathe, which is why I'm indoors now with you rather than yesterday when I was outside when it was in the low 200s. So people with lung or heart problems, you definitely do not want to be outside, and even healthy people, you don't want to do stuff outside. So let's go back to the boards and we'll talk about how long this smoke will last and what all it means and what is particulate matter. Let's just take a moment here, you and I, and we'll talk about it. So first of all, here's the visible satellite. And again, the difference here, you see the bland, darker gray all the way over northeastern and central Pennsylvania, and you see those white dots. Well, the white dots to the left over by Altoona and Lawrence, those are actual clouds. The darker gray, that's all the smoke here in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. And it has been very, very thick. Just to go around the region to give you an idea, there's Lewistown. Remember yesterday they had that blue sky. It was all about location. Well, you can see the smoke building there as well. And then this is what it looks like in Pottsville. They're also dealing with the smoke as it's moving through. And then here's what it looks like as we just showed you from our backyard. So now the air quality is above. It's gone even worse than very unhealthy. We're actually now into hazardous, which is a category right below very unhealthy, because we're looking at a 301 score as far as the air quality. So when you're under a hazardous air quality, you want to stay indoors. That's it. You want to remain indoors, and you'll be looking at avoid strenuous activities. Close windows, filtered air is best. That's what you want to do inside. So even the windows that have the air conditioners in them, you want to close them up. Yesterday, you may remember, our air quality really started going bad around 2, 3, 4 o'clock, very similar to today. And if we look at the smoke tracker, you can see that that's what we're expecting. Here, if we move through the afternoon, we'll zoom in. You can see it now. We told you before, the purple, that's the really dense plume of smoke. So we're watching that, but you can see the timestamp, 1 o'clock, and then we'll put it into motion. There's 2 o'clock. See that dense 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it's still over us. And then as we get into the evening hours, we're still in the red, which is on the high side, but it's not that really dense purple color that you see there. And then as we move through the overnight, we're still going to have the hazy, smoky sky, but we're going to be looking at, again, more of this tomorrow, but not as bad, I don't think, as today, as our winds will shift a little bit more to the west. So particulate matter, what exactly is it? Why is it so problematic for us? Well, if you look at this chart right here, this is what we're talking about. So the particulate matter that's out there right now from combustion, organic compounds, things like that, that's at 2.5. If you look at the top right-hand corner of your screen, 2.5, okay, that's micrometers. So compare that to one human hair, which is between 50 and 70 micrometers. See how much smaller that is? Or like a fine pebble of sand. As you can see, they're about 90 micrometers. So a human hair, 50 to 70, but this combustion particles that we're dealing with, they're only 2.5. So that means they can easily get into your lungs, get into your bloodstream, and really create some problems for you. And that's certainly something that you don't want. You know, you hear many of us talk about allergies and pollens and those things. Well, they're about 10 micrometers in diameter. So you can see the compounds that we're dealing with, the particles rather that we're dealing with, are much smaller. So that's why we're warning people to stay indoors. As I mentioned, we're over 300 now as far as our measurement air quality, and that's coming from the EPA, and we're going to continue to monitor that. So this is going to be getting a little bit worse this afternoon before it gets better. These are not something that you want to mess around with. Try and stay indoors if you can. If you're doing things like deliveries and stuff, boy, you really need to take precautions, because this is some of the worst air quality that I've seen in 25 years. I can't remember us being in a hazard situation. So we'll continue to monitor this, keep you updated.